Good evening. It's a beautiful, beautiful night here in the Odeon car park, because that's where the cool kids hang out on a Sunday night. I've just been to see... why do I keep singing during these? Like, what is that about? I've just been to see the New Mutants, directed by Josh Boone, possibly written by as well. It's within the MCU, it's within the Marvel universe, but possibly not the MCU. It's definitely a Marvel thing because they're mutants in the same sort of vein as the X-Men, but it doesn't fit into the big MCU universe that we've all been hanging out in since 2008. I don't think. Didn't check. Anyway, so it's about mutants. It's about new mutants. Specifically 5 mutants who are being kept in a facility, a hospital of sorts, where they can learn how to use their power safely, or so they think. Or in, if you like, is a character called Danielle Moonstar. She is of Native American descent, and we enter the facility with her when at the beginning her reservation gets hit by a tornado, or maybe it doesn't. There are 4 other mutants already in the facility, so they are played by, I'm going to try and remember everybody's name. There was a guy, David Zaga, I think his name was. Maisie Williams, who most of you will know as Arya Stark from Game of Thrones. Anya Taylor-Joy, who I saw most recently in Emma, full stop. And then Charlie Heaton of Stranger Things fame. So they are the 5, and they have varying abilities, they have varying tragic backstories, and then there's Dr. Reyes, who is there to help them come to terms with their abilities. There's definitely a sinister undertone. You're not quite sure that it's as ethical as she pretends it is. She's very much, Dr. Reyes is very much like, it's for your own good, we're here to help you. She keeps referencing my superiors, but we don't know who they are. I don't want to give too much away, obviously, because I don't do spoilers. Did I like it? I did, however, it was only an hour and a half long, so props for that, nice and bish bash bosh, but it actually felt like it took ages to get going. And pretty much the whole first chunk of the film was them in the facility, having their therapy, exploring their powers, getting to know each other. And maybe because it had 2 actors that I know from big TV shows, so Maisie Williams, as I mentioned, from Game of Thrones, and Charlie Heaton from Stranger Things, totally went out my head then. It felt like an extended episode of a Netflix TV show rather than a big film. I've just started watching Umbrella Academy on Netflix. I came the first series last week while I was off, and I've started series 2, and it had that sort of vibe, and it didn't feel particularly cinematic to me. The big set piece at the end, if you like, and again I won't give anything away, but there's a big to-do at the end, ta-da. That felt big screen, I guess. They've queued it up nicely for a sequel, which I would definitely see. I just feel a little bit... it didn't wow me. Performances were good, however, I try not to slag people off in these videos, but Blue Hunt, who played Danny Moonstar, who was, as I say, was sort of the protagonist or in for this whole thing, I just didn't think she was very good. I felt she was a bit one-dimensional. She didn't really have a lot of star power, and the problem is when you're up against somebody like Anya Taylor-Joy, who looks like an alien but is amazing. She plays Ilyana Rasputin. There's the most Russian name you've ever heard in your life. Yeah, she's quite a force. She's very tall, and she's a real presence. And then Maisie Williams is a teeny tiny little thing, but because I've seen her play Arya Stark, and I know she's got like serious cojones on her, she was very good. And I just felt like this Danny character, who was supposed to be at the centre of things, I was a bit like indifferent to. Like, it was good, I don't regret watching it. I'm glad I've seen it. My thoughts are always, I'm glad my opinions are my own, so even if I do see something and dislike it and I'm joining a conversation about the film, then they're coming from my own views and not, well, the Guardian said this about it and I heard about the Five Live on the Five Live podcast that they said this. So yeah, it was okay. I wouldn't urge you to rush and see it. I'd tell you to go and see Tenet instead. But yeah, it was alright. It's a bit you win some, you lose some, isn't it? But I think I'd rather have spent an hour and a half watching an episode and a half of Umbrella Academy, which stars Ellen Page, who is a big screen movie star and played one of the X-Men. Ta-da! She played Kitty Pryde in one of the X-Men films, but don't ask me which one because I'm pretty sure Kitty Pryde appeared in several of the early X-Men films and kept being played by different actresses, but one of them was definitely Ellen Page, and Kitty Pryde is my favourite X-woman. So there you go, fun fact. I think that's it. Don't know what I'm saying next, don't know what's coming out. It's still all a bit weird at the minute, but I will say again what I said in my last two videos, it is so good to be back in the cinemas. Yeah, I think that's it. Is that it? I'm hesitating. I'm wondering whether or not I should say something about Chadwick Boseman, but then I might start crying, which would be really embarrassing. This is not going to come as news to anybody, but the actor who brought the superhero Black Panther, King T'Challa, to screen passed away yesterday of colon cancer, and he was 43, and it's mind-bogglingly horrible and sad because he was, as far as anyone can tell and as far as, you know, I can see, he was a good guy, and the fact that he had cancer was not public, which is absolutely fair. It's a very private thing, but when you consider that he was going through surgeries and chemo for the last 4 years of his life while making some of the biggest films that cinema has seen in recent memory, that level of commitment to your craft and strength is just incomprehensible to me. So yeah, I spent a fair bit of yesterday just sort of having a little cry, and it's ridiculous because I don't know the guy, I would never have met him, but it just seems like such an awful loss. So yeah, awful, sad, and a huge loss to the world and to the Marvel family. So I hope wherever he is peaceful. Yeah, awful. I'm definitely done now. Okay, Katie out.